Hello guys, so let's get started with a new lab. User role can be modified in user profile. So let's read the lab description. The lab has an admin panel at admin endpoint. It's only accessible to logged in users with a role ID of 2. Okay. Solve the lab by accessing the admin panel and using it to delete the user car loss. You can log in into your account. You can log in into your own account using the following credential: Winer Peter. Same. This is a gray box pen testing. Think like that. You've got a gray box pen testing. You have got a in the previous lab. I have explained this particular scenario where there would be you would be asking the application owner or developer the two creds, the normal creds and admin creds. Okay. So let's try to access the lab and let's see what can happen. Okay, the lab is an admin panel at admin. It's only accessible to logged in user with a login ID of 2. Let's do one thing. Let's try to access the admin panel without login. Okay, so these are the methodology we would be following. Okay, so how you would be getting to know that there is an admin panel? Fuzzing, you have to do some fuzzing. Okay, so whenever you get an application on the login page, do some fuzzing, try to find some endpoint. So let's try to access some admin panel. Okay, admin is available to logged in user. Fine, no problem. So let's try with accessing. Let's first delete this particular all the. Okay, Winer Peter. Okay, so what are we doing here? Username Viner, your email is this. Let's see the login request. What is going here? We're getting a session ID, and if we see this request, is there any admin is equal to true or false? No, there is no something is going any cookies or something. Let's send the request. Let's try to do something changes here. If suppose administrator, like, let's see what can happen. AMINISTRATOR. Let's see. No, it is taking us into the login page. Winer, fine, no problem. Is this? Yes, fine. So whenever you do the gray box pen testing, always see each and every module. That is the most important thing. I have seen many of the pen testers, they forget to test each and every module where they can do the privilege escalation, where they can find some good vulnerability. Okay, so where we can do the privilege escalation, we have to do the privilege escalation, we want to find, and we have to get the admin panel. So let's map each, let's see each and where we can do something. Let's go here, product id nahi, idhar to kuch nahi hai. Let's go to the my account. Okay, there is an admin email. Okay, let's try to change the email. abc@gmail.com. Let's see what happens. Go to the proxy history. Always check each and every request in the burp suite burp history. Remember this. Okay, so change email. Let's take to this the repeater. You can press Ctrl R. There is an email. Okay, and what we have read in the lab description is the lab has admin panel at admin. It's only accessible to logged in user with a role ID of 2. Solve the lab by accessing the admin panel and using it to delete the user car loss. Okay, you can log in into here. So if we check what it is showing, what it is saying, that's a role ID of 2. Okay, let's do one thing. Shall we do some changes here? If we try to do some give input in like on our own role ID, and we try to do this. Let's see what happens. Oh my goodness, great. Role ID of 2. Okay, here we have an API key. Okay, try to access the admin panel if you are able to see. Okay, great. So what does it mean? When we try to see in the post request, what we have done is, now in think it as a real world. Definitely in the real world, this is not a ports figure. In the real world, it's not a ports figure lab where you will get to know. But suppose you are doing the real world pen test. You first log in with a normal user. You took the notes. you log in with the what would I say, admin credentials, okay, privilege credentials. Where you saw in the JSON request there are some parameters which is going. What you have to do is you have to note it down that parameter, okay. When now log in with the normal application, normal user, try to insert, there would be place where there would be some in the get request or port request, try to insert this parameter, okay. Try to insert this parameter and see if we are able to escalate the privilege or something, okay. When we do API pen testing, it's not only about web pen testing, gray box pen testing. When you do API pen testing, okay, what happen is, I have done this and I will be telling you, uh, there is an normal user credential, okay, normal session IDs, okay, normal we get a session token or some JWT token, okay. So suppose there are two APIs, okay. One API which have a privilege session token can create an orders, and a normal user can only fetch the orders. What we can do is, but and there is a JSON request and JSON body. In the normal request, there is request. This is known as key. This is known as value. There is an create work for create order, okay. Create order and some values would be there, okay. What you can do is try to copy that value, take into the normal session token. Now there is an API with JWT token with normal session. Put that particular create work order and try to see if you are able to create an work order, or suppose you are trying to change the work order or try to change something, okay. If you are able to do it, definitely you are able to escalate your privilege. Why? Because normal user can't do that. Now you would be saying how a normal user can get to know that particular parameter. It's not a very big deal, okay. See, a normal, see, when a hackers or some bad hackers, they do the reconnaissance, they don't do recon for 1 day 2 day, they give 1 year 2 year 3 years to an application to hack an application. Now for example, Uber was hacked by 18-year guy, but I think he told, I think I've read somewhere, he has been like looking into the application and trying to understand whole Uber, how the Uber works and all, for I think 1 or 2 years. So somewhere or somewhat they get to know what would be there. Okay, so we have, as a security pen tester, we have to aware of everything, okay. So what he has done is, what we can do is, in the normal APIs, what we can do, we can try to replace some no values, okay, which has been there in the suppose there are five request, I mean to say five endpoint, five key pair value in the normal request, normal user request, and in the privilege request there are only 7 to 8 key pair value. You took one key pair value, put it into the normal, and try to do some changes. If you are able to do that, something would be there, okay. So what we are trying to do is, here we are able to escalate the privileges, okay. We are able to do the privilege escalation, which is known as broken access control, okay. So here we got API key, here we got role ID 2, and in the form of mass assignment, here we are trying to do mass assignment. We are trying to put the value, and backend is accepting the client input without doing any validation, okay. So client side input is not getting validated. Now if we try to access the admin panel, now what happens, now what is happening in the backend? Actually, here in the backend, Winer has got the admin functionality, admin rights, okay, just because of this role ID 2. Very simple. So let's try to delete the Carlos, and we are able to do this. So what is happening here? Here client side input is not getting validated. Client side input is not getting validated by the backend, okay. And what we are trying to do is mass assignment. Now what is mass assignment? I will tell you in the future. Okay, leave the mass assignment. The main thing is broken access control. This is the main concept of broken access control, where we are able to escalate the privileges. Vertical privilege escalation, okay. Vertical privilege escalation, where we are able to perform the admin rights. So this is the important thing. And whenever you are trying to explain your manager, or you will be punching the vulnerability, you have to explain them, okay, I am able, I got vertical privilege escalation. You will tell, okay, I'm able to escalate the privilege. No, you have to use them specific word which is known as vertical privilege escalation. This is a vulnerability in the broken access control. So this is vertical privilege escalation, where from normal user able to escalate the privilege to the admin and do some admin related work, admin rights. Okay, so guys, thank you so much. So where is my notes? Check, is there any request or parameter where you can manipulate to escalate privilege? Now you can see in every request response, identify that particular value. Now it is in the form of mass assignment or change some value in the request. Okay, so thank you so much, guys. Let's see in the next lab.